Hey everyone, this is Kaiwan, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how I created this sci-fi artwork using Blender. This video is not a step-by-step tutorial, as that would take at least hours. Rather, it is a time-lapse of the steps I took to achieve such results. We can call it a breakdown. So without further ado, let's get into it. I start with my default startup with a human real-life scale stick named Bob. This helps me to create things based on a real-life scale, which is crucial when it comes to creating realistic scenes. The link for my default startup will be in the description to download for free. Then I used one of the materials I made with Quixel Mixer for the ground. Afterwards, I went to Quixel Bridge and found a cliff to use and export it to Blender. Fixed some of the adjustment of the cliff and duplicated a few times to create depth within the scene. And then I used Array Modifier to extend the ground. Added a sphere, and then I added emission material to add light to it. And now it's time to create some sci-fi building. I have to say that I'm not an expert when it comes to modeling, but knowing the fundamentals really helps when you create something from scratch. And with the help of Random Flow, which is an add-on, I was able to add random panels, scatters, and tubes. So at this point, I am mostly experimenting on how to build the environment structure. Then used one of the fogs from my fog pack to create more depth. And here I use Blender Kit add-on to look for some metal materials for the buildings. After that, I just scaled the buildings more towards the camera and the object to fill the gap on the side, and kind of duplicated a bunch to add more details to this scene. Alright everyone, our sci-fi scene is coming along nicely, but before we continue, I have an exciting announcement for all you talented artists out there. I am thrilled to introduce the AMD Design Award 2023. This year's theme is designing the energy source of tomorrow. AMD is basically challenging all of us to imagine a world with alternative energy sources and explore how we can contribute to this change. I was so stuck when AMD reached out to me about this because I actually begun my 3D journey using their processor, and I absolutely love their products. Anyways, there are 4 categories you can participate in, such as transport, city, unexpected energy source, and finally a social poster. So feel free to create an artwork based on one of these categories, and don't forget there are awards for the winners. The judging criteria include composition, color, idea, storyline, techniques, and attention to detail. Not only is the AMD Design Award a fantastic opportunity to showcase your skills, but also a great way to network with other artists and potentially step up your business. Make sure to visit amdaward.com for more information. I also added more anisotropy with my volume scatter to add more glow to the fog. And as you can see, the further you push the emission light, the darker it gets. So I have to push the intensity to balance it out. I also tried to add some emission light to the tubes that I generated with Random Flow, but I wasn't very sure of them. At this point, I wanted to render and see if things are good so far, but it turns out that some of the materials were just unscaled and were in the wrong order. So I quickly canceled the render and adjusted the materials. Here I added some grass and brushed it nearby the cliff to add more realism using Botanic add-on. And afterwards I added a few trees in the foreground using Botanic add-on as well. Finally, it is time to add our character. I used one of the PNG characters from my PNG pack and it fitted perfectly. I also compared the scale to the stick Bob, making sure the scale is accurate. For some reason, my screen recorder just stopped at this moment, but what I did, I basically duplicated the cliffs more towards the foreground to fill up the gap and create more depth within the scene. And here with some final touches and making sure that the composition is good, it was time to render. And if you know my workflow, you will know that this is not the end. After the render, I jumped to Adobe Lightroom to do some color grading and adding adjustment brush and layers. Then I jumped to Photoshop to see what else I can do. I noticed that some of the materials on the building were too flat, so I downloaded a concrete texture and changed the blend mode to overlay and then just skew the texture to fit the building. That way we add more realism and imperfection details to the buildings. Then I did some dodge and burning to add contrast between the highlights and shadows. Then I tried to add some slight smoke effect to add more depth to the scene, but it was almost unnoticeable. And here, with a few final adjustments, the artwork is ready. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to check out amdaward.com to participate with your artworks and hopefully win awards and make a name for yourself. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe to this channel for more upcoming videos like this one. I'll see you guys in the next one.